So the day I went out of my way and I took my phone with me, and usually I never do that. If I leave the house, I leave my phone at home. But now there's a reason, because leaving my phone at home right now makes me more anxious than taking it with me. Because in a way I'm waiting for a call. And so that's just a conscious decision. I know normally I wouldn't take it. And normally it would really bother me. But right now what would bother me more is to miss a call that I would find important. Of course, there's always the chance that the person who will call me is not the person that I want to call me. But who knows, right? So sometimes maybe your feeling tells you bring the phone, because also a reason why I stay inside all the time sometimes is then because I'm afraid to miss something. I'm afraid to leave the phone. And normally I don't really care. But in this case I feel like it is important. And that's once more a conscious decision, reflecting on what are my needs. Am I just taking the phone all the time because it became a habit? Or am I just dragging the phone with me out of habit, although I actually don't like it? So you also have to think about whether or not it's disturbing you to have the phone with you. Because whether you like it or not, but as soon as electronics are in the room and you are aware of them, your consciousness is kind of waiting for something to happen. And I don't know if that's with everybody like this. Some people say it doesn't matter to them, but I'm not so sure about that. Because why do you bring it then, right? Why do you need to bring your phone if you're not somehow expecting somebody to reach you? So some people are waiting to be contacted. But if you say something to them, they say, well, I don't check it. And it's true, some people really, they are not bothered. They have their phone with them, but they're not constantly checking it, right? That's then usually the people that text you 5 days later because they simply didn't see it. And that's something that could hardly ever happen to me. So for me, it's really a struggle to have the phone with me, because I'm constantly aware that I have it, and I'm also constantly waiting for somebody to contact me. And that's why it's often easier to just have it in flight mode or put it on do not disturb. I don't know how other people do this. I just know that for me it's highly disturbing, and that's also the reason why I keep my usage of phones to a minimum, because it's just so hard to deal with it. I don't like all these interruptions, and maybe I like them too much. So that's actually then I dislike it. And that's the same for then maybe pornography, that in a way, you really like it, but it's actually quite destructive. And that's, if you're constantly waiting for a message to come, then you surely should start working on using your phone less and getting used to leaving it at home more often. And that's quite a hard one. Like, I've tried a lot of things, but reducing my usage of social messengers, I'd never had them long, but when I had them, they really pissed me off. It's like WhatsApp. I just deleted it. I never had Facebook. I had Instagram for a while, but I deleted that too. TikTok I tried once, but I deleted that too. What else? I had... Yeah, and then I have Telegram. But everybody that continuously wrote me a lot of messages on Telegram, I just started shutting them down. Because I wanted to keep that, first of all, more private, but also make sure that people don't bother me with all this stuff all the time. Like, they send you things and they want you to read them. So I just stopped responding. This friend who always sent me these articles, and when I stopped responding, it became a bit less. And then now he just sends me stuff once in a while and not every day anymore. And it's enough to think, oh, he thinks of me, but it also became more selective. And I kind of like that. So, yeah, hardly anyone ever writes me. And in a way, sometimes I feel a bit sad about it, but I have to remind myself that I'm the one who created it. Sometimes also by being nasty to some people, but of course I had a reason, because I knew sometimes if you're too nice to people, they just get attached to you and then they come back to you all the time. Whereas, with some people I want them to come back, but with most people I don't. Because I just think, just get going on your own, especially with men. Like, don't keep bothering me, because I'm not looking for friends. I want strong men in my life. And if I'm able to push you away, also, you're probably kind of a pussy, because there's a reason why I'm pushing you away, because you want too much stuff from me. You're like constantly calling me, asking me how my day was. That's just a disturbance. And then, what do? You shut them out. You say, never call me again. And that just shows you already what kind of person that is. They don't even know why you say that to them. That's how ignorant they are of their own behavior. How much energy it costs to maintain some friends. And they don't realize it. And they even lie to you. They give you a lot of shit. And you're still supposed to love them. And of course, then I get into the position, if I see that with other people, what kind of friends they still have, I just think, fucking hell. Like, then I don't even want to spend time with them. It's like thinking about the woman I will be with. I have that urge to control her, to tell her when to use the phone, because I've established some rules for myself, or some ways how to deal with things. And now suddenly there's a second person, and she continuously takes her phone with herself. Yeah, well, that would piss me off in a way. But I also know in a way I can't really say anything about it, unless of course she's just constantly checking it. But for me, already knowing that, it's like my other half does different things, sometimes disturbs me. But you have to get used to that, don't you? But there are some things which I wouldn't want. So I wouldn't want to be with a woman who eats meat, for instance. Just no chance. I wouldn't want to be with a woman who smokes. No chance. Like, some things I just want a similar mindset. And that's then how you want to meet, right? To have similar goals in life. And a similar take on life in general. Like similar attitudes. To not just have somebody to have somebody, but to have somebody because in some ways you are alike each other. And of course that doesn't work for everyone, but for me that's how I want it to be. Because I want to really do stuff together. Spend a lot of time together. A lot of time, and grow together as a couple, but also as individuals. But the relationship to me is something really important. The family is something really important. To spend time with each other and with our children, that's to me one of the most important things. And also one of the main reasons why I want to be with a woman in the first place, because I want to grow together and do stuff together. Like I said, not everything. I think my creative work I want to keep mostly, just myself, because that's my playground. But some things I want to do together. It's like eat together, cook together. I want my wife, to like cooking. So we can cook together, and we can cook together for other people and for groups and stuff. Do spiritual work together, because that's what I do. I mean, I'm training to be some kind of shaman, right? And that's just what happens when you start facing your fears. That's what shamans do. But not everybody's the same, of course. Everybody has a different mindset. But to me, that's just really important. That's why I know, not anybody could be my wife. And that's why I know my wife would have to have, courage. She has to have the balls to also say, you're my man. I want you, nobody else. Because that's what I would say then as well. If I know my wife has the balls to do so, that's what I want. That's what I expect. And maybe it's a lot to ask, but why? Why? Because there's nothing worse than to be with somebody who doesn't even know that she wants to be with you. That's just shit. That's just constant struggling. And you'll probably at one point have to leave her so that she realizes what she had in you. It's like, what the fuck? You don't want to do that over and over again. No, at some point you just say, it's enough now. Whoever comes now has to claim me and say, you're it. With all your shit, but also all your nice stuff. And then it's my job in the meantime to make sure that I'm somehow lovable. So, and that's what I mean, right? Sometimes, I talk about my demon. But what do I really do? I don't really do anything. I don't slit people's throats. I don't kill people. I mean, I eat a bit much sugar. I drink a lot of coffee. A lot of coffee. Listen to that. Yeah, and sometimes maybe I say stuff. Sometimes maybe I shout at you. But that's just uncomfortable. I mean, if you can't deal with that, then you cannot deal with me. And that's just how it is. So if I say something, if I want to say something, I'll say it. And if you don't want to hear it, right, I may shout at you. And I will shut you down if you don't want to hear what I have to say. And I will send you away if you keep ignoring me. And sometimes I'm a bit shocked at myself that I do these things. That suddenly I talk to somebody and it was kind of alright, and then he says something, and suddenly I realize, okay, shit, now I have to act. And from one moment to the next, I just basically attack them. Not personally, but I just tell them the truth, what the fuck is your deal, right? You're calling me. And what are you telling me here? And then I just say, never call me again. And then I block them, goodbye. And that just sometimes comes out of me. Then I can say, I'm evil, I'm unlovable. No, I just know what I need in my life. And I know what I need in my life. And there are some people that sometimes come back to me. And then I also test them in a way, of course. I also test myself. Do I want them back? And then I realize, they're still the same kind of person. He's still fighting what I'm trying to tell him, which is to change. And then he says, but I want this and I want that. And I said, fuck off. You come to me, I tell you something, you don't want to hear it, fuck off. So sorry, but that's just then how it is. And sometimes, yes, I'm a bit shocked at myself, and sometimes I'm really afraid that in the end of my life, I'm just gonna be alone. But then that's how it is. If nobody manages, to stay relaxed around me when I have my tantrum, well, what can I do then? Am I not allowed to get angry sometimes? I mean, other people can be in my presence, and I still like them afterwards. Why can't people do that with me? Like, I should be able to get angry sometimes. Because I sure as hell will, even in a marriage. It won't be just like all nice all the time. You can't expect that from your partner. To just be nice all the time. Sometimes you just have a bad day. And then you need your partner to just love you just as much. Or maybe just tell you, come on now, pull yourself together. Right? Or sometimes just maybe take you in the arm or say, hey, maybe you should sleep a bit. And why can your partner say that? Because he or she actually pays attention to you. That's important. Because sometimes we don't pay attention to ourselves. We don't realize actually what we would need right now is to sleep. And maybe sometimes, right, you're in a marriage, you have a child, and you're so miserable because you didn't sleep. But maybe your wife also didn't sleep. And what do you say then? Come on, honey, you take a bit of rest. I'll take care of our daughter or our son for a bit. And then later she has the energy, to give you some time to sleep or do something else maybe. So it's just about working together and working it out. And if you have a problem with, phones when you go for a hike, you can address it, of course. But if she doesn't see the point, then you just let it go, and maybe at one stage she just starts doing it by herself, because nobody likes change forced upon them. So it has to be voluntary. But you can still ask for change. Of course, if both of you are concerned, and if you feel like this relationship is suffering, so you ask for change. And if your partner then just gets angry at you, and you have to say, listen, this is important to me. Can we work together here or not? No! Well, okay, maybe we should take some time apart. Because clearly we cannot communicate anymore. And then that's just how it is. And then you leave it up to each other to work towards each other again. Because you distance yourself. And then time will show. Maybe the relationship will end. And maybe you will manage to find back together. You don't know that. And that's of course now also my conundrum. While there is a part in me saying, she's your wife, there's also the other part which just hates her. And then there's the part that really loves her. And right now I don't know what the truth is. Well, the truth is I miss her, that's for sure. I really, really, really miss her. But under the circumstances we were in, it was basically impossible. Because if you miss somebody so much, it just makes you angry. You can love somebody so much that you start hating them. That actually can happen to you. You love somebody so much. It's with that movie, Despicable Me, right? Oh my god, it's so fluffy! Right? Sometimes things are so cute, you just want to Yeah, I don't know what that is. I think it's you love it so much you just want to take it into you. Something like that. And I think that's what I had with her. I love her so much, and she said that once to me, that sometimes I just make her really angry, and I don't know why. Right? And maybe I don't even have to say anything about that. Maybe I just hit some spots in her that just make her really angry. And that's then the potential for really great sex, if you manage to channel these emotions, this really intense love, right, into really great sex, and not destructive or something, but like really great. And that's then what you call channel and transformation, because that's basically taking anger and turning it into love. So, yeah. I think that's about it for now, of course.